Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Toria.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic. So, we're back after a long hiatus of recording because we went crazy and recorded thousands of episodes ahead of time. Well, not thousands.
This is our second episode back, too.
Yeah, this is true. So I have a special topic I want to talk about, and it's near and dear to my heart, and I think that you will agree that it's an issue. It's a social media kind of issue. So we're going to talk about social media people, especially those who kind of gather in the same thing. So like, examples I can give you would be like a Facebook group or a Facebook page because it's about a certain topic, generally speaking. And then sometimes certain Instagram accounts that are about a certain topic, like maybe the software company Later has one and then a lot of people congregate there and the comments on their posts, because Instagram is Instagram, aren't always related to the post, but they're related to the software. And so it's like this discussion about the software. And then Twitter kind of doesn't have that. It's more like a hashtag discussion. But so we're mainly talking about Facebook and Instagram. And
probably this new pop-up MeWe that people are starting to migrate to.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be very similar to how Facebook runs.
And I think if you are listening to this episode and you see yourself in any of what we say, you might want to rethink your life a little bit. Just saying that right now, up front. And we are going to be blunt, and we are going to be honest, and we are going to say how we actually feel.
You know how Jeff Foxworthy says you might be a redneck?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you relate to the thing, then you're a redneck?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you might be a jackass.
You might be a social media jackass.
Yeah.
If. So, I gave this a lot of thought because it can go in so many different ways. And one of the things that drives me crazy because it's disingenuous and controlling, and I'll explain the controlling part because you're all going to say, when you hear the example, you're going to be like, what? It's the person who takes what you say and adds things to it that you never said. You say, I think flu numbers are down because they aren't reporting the flu as flu. And they say, why would they misdiagnose flu as COVID? It's something I never said.
Right.
It's not even something I inferred. What I said was they're not reporting the flu as the flu. Now, here's the interesting thing if you ask me, because you know me, I'm analytical, and this is where the controlling aspect comes in. See, to me, a controlling person is someone who takes a topic and makes it their own. But they also sometimes, controlling people, reveal their innermost issues. And so this person, their issue is that they full well know that what's going on is wrong, but because it's happening with people on, quote, their side,
they don't care.
Right. They don't give a damn.
And it's infuriating.
So think about that. If I were to say on a Facebook group, hey, I think flu numbers are down because they aren't reporting the flu as the flu. And then someone on the left were to say, well, why would they misdiagnose flu as COVID? What made them go there?
Do you know, all you have to say to not be a social media jackass is, well, what do you think they're reporting the flu cases as?
Exactly.
And get the more information from you about what you are thinking before they tell you that you're wrong. Something wrong with them telling you you're wrong so they don't get all the facts first.
It's like, okay, weird side shoot here, but it reminds me of something when you said that. I don't know why this popped in my head, but when people do sobriety tests, when the cops do sobriety tests and they make you walk heel to toe, they're not necessarily checking your balance. They're checking whether you followed the instructions. Take 9 steps, turn around, and take 9 more steps back.
But you think about it, a completely sober person, even if you're a little rickety, you're going to be able to remember you're supposed to take 9 steps heel to toe.
And then turn around
and take 9
take
back.
9 steps back.
But you
and that's
watch
the key. That's the key. Heel to toe first. How many steps? 9. Then what do? Back up? No, you turn around. And then how many steps do you take back? 9 steps back.
But you watch the DUI checkpoint things on TV or whatever, and they're doing this perfect heel to toe, no swaying at all.
38 steps later.
38 steps later, they're like, you're under arrest, my friend.
Yeah, we're sorry. You're clearly impaired. And that's the thing about this. It's like, what made them jump to misdiagnosing flu as COVID? What made them jump there is that's what they think is going on. But they can't say it because if they say it, it would go against their side.
Right.
But they tip their hand. But it's also controlling because you didn't say they're misdiagnosing the flu as COVID, but that's where they're making the discussion go by saying that. And the problem is a lot of people get involved in discussions by scanning the comments and finding something they agree with vehemently or disagree with vehemently. And they don't bother to read what came before it. So that's a problem. Then this next person, they label you.
Oh God, these people.
So you're a sexist, you're a racist, you're a Trump follower, you're a Trump supporter, you're a Trump pansy, you're a liberal, you're a conservative. Oh my God, if they find out I'm libertarian, then I'm a tinfoil hat wearing person. Ugh. And then I ask them, based off of what of my views do you think I'm a tinfoil hat wearing person? And they have no answer because they're just labeling you. Right. And what's funny is they have no problem labeling you. But then, if you say, hey, dear lemmings, this is what I think about your position, you're calling people names.
Oh, my God. I know.
No, I'm not. I labeled you. I did what you did. Okay? So own it. If you label someone, own it. Yes, I think you're a devil worshiper because you said this. Guess what? No one's going to care. Even if it's here, I'll give you a great example. I think you're a devil worshiper because you said you really like dachshunds. Now, okay, most sane people are going to hear that and laugh and go, what the hell does liking a dachshund have to do with being a devil worshiper?
They both start with D.
But the point is, at least the person had a path to the conclusion they made.
Their path may be crazy, but at least it was a path. You're not wrong.
Well, and you know what? It's also a truthful path. I do like dachshunds. That doesn't make me a devil worshiper, but I do like dachshunds. And if they're going to say that because I like dachshunds, in their mind, I'm a devil worshiper, who am I to argue with that? I mean, and this is where my philosophy was born. And I've said it on this show a billion times. And I foresee a t-shirt being made like this soon. I don't give one fuck what you think about me. Because you know what? In the end, your thoughts don't matter. What matters is the reality of the situation. That's what matters. So, label me whatever the hell you want because I'm not going to even entertain the label. I'm just going to keep going. You know what? You get called a name. If someone said, my God, you're just a big sexist, and it has happened, I don't entertain it. You know why? Because I know I'm not sexist, and everybody that knows me knows I'm not sexist. And nobody can point to something that I did or said that was sexist. So why entertain it? That's just a distraction. You keep going. It's like playing a chess game, and when someone makes a threat, well, if I'm about to get checkmate on the next move, why am I worrying about that you're attacking my queen?
Right. You should probably worry a little bit more about your king.
Right. Just worry about your strategy and, don't worry about that. And then the next person I just love, and I think you're going to have a lot to say about this one, is the damned expert, I call them. The person, I'm a nurse, or I used to do scientific studies. You know what 2020 showed us? My brother's sister's father's mother's husband's son is a doctor.
You know what 2020 showed us? Everybody who reads a random blog post by some random tinfoil hat-wearing libertarian on the internet is now an expert.
Exactly.
And yes, I went there to,
You're not wrong.
To harass you because you're a tinfoil hat-wearing libertarian,
It's just funny, and it's like, I'm a nurse. Well, I appreciate that you're a nurse. I truly do. But, that doesn't mean that because you're a nurse, you know everything about medicine.
Well, I think this one is kind of similar to the person that I added, who was the person who always says, quote unquote, I read an article that says ... and then provides you with the half-assed opinion-oriented blog post from some obscure website that doesn't have any kind of following.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're almost the same person.
Well, and a good nurse, and I've known many in my life. I've had friends. I don't know why, but I've had a lot of nurses in my circle of friends and acquaintances. Hell if I know why, male and female. And one thing that they all have in common, the good ones, is that if they know the patient has this disease and the patient's temperature seems a little abnormally low, they don't just ignore it because it's, quote, okay. They recognize, oh, well, that means that they need half a pill of ibuprofen. And they tell the doctor, but then they get it ready to go. You know, they're good at it. But they're not the ones going, oh, they have this disease, and then diagnosing them. That's the doctor's job. But what I'm getting at is they're just really good at the process to deal with each disease. They're very good at that because they know how to care. That's their job, right? Caring for sick people. That's their fucking job. And their job is to, if I'm not wrong, administer the doctor's orders. Because the doctor doesn't come back every 30 minutes and, you know, put morphine in, you know, for pain or whatever. God, every 30 minutes, you'd never wake up. Morphine, I just thought about that. But what do you have to say about these experts? Because you've run into a few.
I just think they're idiots. I can't. Reading an article, even reading a series of articles, you're not an expert in the field. Being a nurse does not make you an expert in disease mutations. You want to know what makes you an expert in disease mutations? Years of studying disease mutations. I think that these nurses are experts in being nurses. I don't doubt that at all. They're probably an expert at playing the cello, too. But you're not a disease mutation expert. You're just not. Just shut the fuck up.
Well, and it's even like I've said to you before that, you know, if there's a technology that I knew really well, but just wasn't that prevalent in my life for, like, say, the last 6 to 10 years, I'm not going to tell someone that I'm an expert in it. Now, I will tell you this. If let's say, you know, Python was something that I needed to do. Well, I've only done one Python project in my entire life, and it worked really well. But if I had to do a Python project right now, if that was the only way to solve a problem or that was the way the customer wanted it, I can tell you within a week to two, I'd be right back to where I was. It wouldn't take me long.
Yeah.
It's like when you don't ride a bike for 10 years and then you get on the bike and you just go, you know? So what I'm getting at is I still wouldn't call myself an expert, and yet it would only take me a week of study to catch up to that point. Maybe 2 weeks. That's it. But most of this stuff would take a lifetime. Like you're talking about, like virologists and, you know, epidemiologists. These people are amateurs at these things, and they think they know what they're talking about. And all they're really doing is being really well read about a topic and then picking a viewpoint within that topic that they agree with and espousing that to everybody. That doesn't make you an expert. That just means you're good at repeating what you learned.
Right.
So, you know, you agree with me then. They're kind of frauds.
Kind of frauds.
Now, what about the person who always has something to say? I know they're your favorite.
No. I don't like these people because if you don't know anything about the topic or you can't add anything to the topic, also just shut the fuck up. Because you don't always have to say something just for the sake of seeing the words that you've now typed on the internet. Nobody cares. Shut up.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I agree with you. I think always having something to say kind of means you know a little about a lot of things, but that means you're not an expert. You're a master of nothing. Yeah, you don't know anything about some big things. And so you're never going to be the person I kind of turn to and go, oh, yeah, I'm going to listen to, you know, your viewpoint. Why would I? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, I think we agree then. The person who always has something to say, they're kind of weak and they just talk a lot so that they look like an expert, but they're not really an expert. Then my other thing I like is the name caller, you know, very, very prevalent on Twitter. You know, you'll say something and they'll be like, oh, just shut up, you dumbass. Well, yeah. Wow, that was really telling me why you think I should shut up.
That shit escalated quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, it's like it's crazy. And then, you know, then there's the Then there's the people who report posts because they don't agree with it.
Like a post that doesn't violate any of the rules of the group, like even a little bit. Like it doesn't even come remotely to come close to dry humping any of the rules. And they've reported it because they don't like it. Oh, it's political and I'm a sensitive little snowflake.
Well, but here's why I think it should concern everybody that people are that way. So you said what you said, and I said what I said, and we basically said the same thing, only used a lot more words than I did, which is rare. Wow, is that rare?
You're welcome.
That is rare. Basically, people report things that they themselves don't agree with. They don't care if it violated the rules or not. They don't agree with it, so they're going to take a shot at getting it censored. They're taking a shot at getting it censored. Now, this is why, I'm going to come right out there and say it. I think that in a Facebook group, sometimes if someone's going to post something controversial, turning the comments off is a good idea because people won't read the article if there's a bunch of comments. They just get into this big discussion. And then you have 5 people arguing against you, something that was never even in the article.
Right.
Because they never read the article. So you turn the comments off and you wait a while, maybe 2 days, 3 days, and say, so about that article I posted, let's talk about it here. Then people are going to be like, well, what article? Yeah, cool. It's over here. Go read it. And you first kind of try to force them to read the article and then discuss it. And again, what I was getting at earlier is I don't care if you're wrong in my mind about something as long as you have a reason why you get there. Like I said before, you want to call me a devil worshiper because I like dachshunds? Cool. Go for it. Same thing with the post reporter. Be real. You want censorship. And that's why it scares me is that now you've got social media platforms refusing to cover this, that, or the other event. What's going to happen soon when, quote, news, end quote, organizations refuse to cover Biden's speech because they're Republican leaning and he's not?
Right.
You can't have that happening. That's just asinine. And then my real favorite one is because I finally come up with a great retort. I wanted to use that word so bad. A great retort is the person who has nothing to say about what you said, so they attack your appearance.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like you've missed a meal in 10 or 15 years. Ha! Well, guess what, buddy? Guess what? I can lose weight, but you can't get any smarter than you are now.
This is true. And also, the fact that you're overweight does not change your intelligence level on a particular subject or invalidate your right to have a conversation about that subject or make you wrong. None of those things.
Exactly.
It's like dachshunds and devil worshippers. They're different. Exactly. You can be both, but you don't have to be both.
Well, right. And that's what's funny is it's like we've talked about. It's the reverse of what we've talked about. You know how people, when they disagree with you on something, they immediately think you're an enemy, even though if you were to talk about 99 more topics, you'd probably agree on all of them. But somehow you're their enemy for that one thing. You know why? It's because they never get to the other 99. Well, it's the reverse here. They're jumping to a massive conclusion based off of one little interaction.
Yeah.
And they're well, I'm going to use the word, their fucked up definition of whatever it is you're talking about, or devil worshiper, abuser, cheater. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Definition of cheater in a relationship is what?
Dependent on the couple.
Exactly. So in our relationship, it's what it is. In someone else's relationship, it's what it is. And we may vehemently disagree and say that's cheating. But if they don't think it is, it's them who have to live the life, not us.
Right.
So who cares? Attack my appearance, man. It just shows you don't have an argument. You're trying to embarrass me and shut me up. And what's funny is when you stand up to them in any way, shape, or form, even if it's just to make a joke like I made of well, guess what, man? I can lose weight, and in fact, I'm working on it. We can't fix how stupid you are. That just shuts them up. Because now they have first of all, they can't whine that you were rude to them because what were they?
Rude.
to you. They can't whine that you called them names because what did they do? They called you names. So see, if they tried, you instantly have hypocrite as a defense. And
Right.
And if they don't try, well, you got to have the last say. You're done. You win. So it's like it's the greatest comeback, and so far no one has ever attempted to defeat that comeback because it would just make them look stupid. They don't have a good retort. There's that word again. Woo! I love that word.
You're such a freak.
So all right, now this one kind of goes with the one up there above, but I pulled it out purposely because obviously to these people, this insult is like the ultimate insult. And yet they're throwing it on you just because of their assumptions. When they call you a maggot because they assume you're a Trump supporter.
Well, and let's be real. Trump supporter is anyone who disagrees on any topic with a liberal.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't matter.
I could disagree about the cost of eggs at Walmart, and automatically I'm a Trump supporter.
Yep. And you know what? That's a good lead in because we've kind of already talked about this topic up higher, earlier in the show, but this new one is new. The person who whines that you're against them, despite the fact that you agree with them completely, but you just want them to stop yelling at all the other members.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, that one.
Well,
but
give it to them.
You come into a discussion, and I think this happens more when you're the admin of the group. You encounter these people rather than when you're just another member.
Sure, makes sense.
You're just like, yo, bro, could you calm down a little? You're freaking out at people. And automatically, they start freaking out at you. Despite the fact that you've agreed with them the entire time, but just because you didn't validate that you agreed with them, they're going to take out their rage at you because now they've assumed you don't agree with them because you tried to calm them down a little.
Do you remember Los Alamitos outside of the city council chambers?
That lady
and
was
it was the
screaming in your
left
face.
and the right people, and the lady was yelling in my face.
And you're just like,
and I'm sitting there going, actually, I agree with you. I actually have the same opinion as you, but you go ahead and scream at me. And you know why I didn't open my mouth and say anything?
Because it would have just made her more crazy.
Because every time I tried, she just yelled louder. And it's like, there's just no point. But that's the kind of thing that you just have to laugh at because they're not paying any attention. And it's very much akin to one of the first ones that we talked about people adding details to things that you didn't say, right. Oh, I think it's because they're misreporting they're not reporting the flu as the flu. Oh, why would they diagnose the flu as COVID? I didn't say that. You said that because that's what you think is happening. I never said that. So, but you're going to call me a conspiracy theorist while you're the one with the conspiracy theory. But okay, And so now you're going to whine at me and tell me that I don't agree with you. Not only whine, you're going to scream and yell at me. Meanwhile, I 100% agree with you.
Right.
It's just, and again, you said it. How do you fix it? Well, you fix it by asking questions.
Simple. If something seems a little off about something someone's saying, just ask them to clarify the detail that's making it seem off. And then if they disagree with them and you think they're reprehensible, then freak out at them and have your tirade.
And that leads us to the perfect segue into the very last social media jackass issue.
And this one is a jackass in real life too, and I'll explain how.
Yeah, I don't know how this is possible to have happened in real life.
You're going to understand in a second.
Okay, here we go. The person who types in all capitals. Now, hold on. Before we say anything, I understand that there's people who hunt and peck. And I understand that there's people who believe that not starting a sentence with a capital looks really bad. So they would rather have the whole thing be in caps because they're trying to type faster by putting caps lock on. I get it. I totally get it.
But you're yelling at people.
But you're screaming at people.
Yeah, you're screaming at people. And they're always the people who want their comment to stand out super much in these discussions anyway.
Yep.
And they're always unreasonable, and they're always at least one of the other things on the list. And in real life, they're fake Mike Pence. Do you remember him? When he screamed in my face and I yelled at him, just because you yell louder does not mean you're right?
Yep.
That's who they are in real life. They're the people who yell at you, just like the lady you were just talking about. They're the people who yell in your face because if they seem to think that if they yell loud enough in your face that you're not going to argue with them anymore.
Oh, you mean like the time at the soccer tournament when the soccer mom got in my face and kept saying, "What, are you going to hit me? Are you going to hit me? Are you going to hit me?"
Yeah.
Like, no.
Just because you yell louder.
I literally said to your screaming husband, why does your wife get to defend you and my wife doesn't get to defend me? And then I got yelled at. Screeched in my face. And that's the kind of person that's typing in all caps. You're right. They do it because they want to be noticed. They want their comment to stand out. You know, they want that.
Sometimes when you call them out on it, then they'll be like, "What? I was just trying to be faster." And then they'll start typing normally. And I was like, "Well, okay, but you're entering an already kind of controversial discussion. Why you got to come at people with yelly caps? They're yelly.
Yeah.
No matter what the context is, if you type in all caps, it's yelly. If you emphasize a word by using all caps for that word, you've said that word louder to add emphasis. So when you put all of your words in capital letters, you're obviously trying to add emphasis.
Well, emphasis is the right word because like what I do,
I know what you
and it
do,
gets me in trouble sometimes with people.
People think you're yelling at something.
Is I put, that's not what I said.
Right.
And so that's what I said, our regular case. Not is all capitals because I want it to be, that's not what I said.
Right.
Like that. And if I said that to you in a conversation, you would not say to me, "Don't yell at me." But people say that. And I'm like,
right.
I didn't capitalize all the words, bro.
Right.
I only capitalized one.
And it's an emphasis word, but people still freak out about it.
Yeah, exactly.
If people freak out about the same people who will freak out about that one emphasis word are the same people who will shout at you in all capital letters when they disagree with you. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, it's
got me all fired up because I hate these people so much.
That's a really good point because those are the same kind of people, but possibly worse than the people who make comments about your appearance. Because as we've said, guess what? I could be the fattest, ugliest, smelliest person on earth. Doesn't change the fact that I can have an opinion.
Correct.
And it doesn't make my opinion any more right, and it doesn't make my opinion any more wrong.
Yes.
So with that in mind, you can scream at me all you want and try to shut me up, but that doesn't make you right. I loved when you said that to him, by the way. Just because you yell the loudest doesn't make you right.
I think the part that was the most funny is that I screamed it in his face after, effectively conveying the message that just because you scream doesn't make you right.
Well, I can see some inconsistencies there. It's kind of like taking a kid and spanking them because you want to teach them not to hit their sibling.
I mean, I think in the exact situation, I had to yell because he wasn't, I wasn't being able to be heard. But I look back at that a little bit and think it's a little funny, but whatever.
Yeah, that whole situation was pretty heated. I'm going to segue us out of here, and I'm going to end with this little comment, and it's something for you to think about. But I'm going to be doing a Liberty Revealed episode. You can go to yogispodcastnetwork.com/LR show. And I'm going to do a Liberty Revealed episode shortly about, we've obviously switched presidents and we've changed what party direction we're going in because now the whole entire the two main branches of government are controlled by the Democrats and not the Republicans anymore. There's not even a 50-50 split. So it's kind of interesting. It means whatever they want should be able to get done at this point, you would hope, for them. I'm not so sure I hope that. But anyway, they changed the immigration policy and they put a hold on deportations for 100 days, effective immediately. But when the email was sent to the heads of the different ICE detention centers, it was telling them to go ahead and release those people, even if they don't have a sponsor. Because right now you can't be released if you don't have a sponsor. Because you have to have somebody you can have in control. Well, guess what? They put a hold on that because Biden's orders never said release them. So see, now what's happening is the reverse of what happened to Trump. So, Trump would say or do something, and then they would put like a crazy spin on it. So now, here's Biden saying, all right, I'm going to put a hold on deportations until I figure out what we're going to do about immigration. And then they're adding to it that he said it's okay to release them into the general population, when he never actually said that. The order did not. I mean, I don't know that he didn't actually say that, but his order didn't say that. It is quite possible and sort of suspicious to me that he did say it somewhere along the line, because you know how especially those law enforcement agencies are very much chain of command,
Yeah.
There's no way that guy sent that email to the heads of the detention centers and told them to release people if his higher up hadn't told him.
Right. Somewhere along the line it got corrupted.
But here's the problem though. If someone wants them to be released, that's just crazy. It's like releasing the prisoners for COVID. It's gotten insane. So this is what the Liberty Revealed is going to be about. It's going to be about
it's pretty exciting.
The immigration issue. And I don't have the typical libertarian view on immigration. I do not believe in open borders 100%. I don't.
Okay.
I believe in partially open borders. So come listen to the show, yogispodcastnetwork.com/LR show. And you know what? One thing y'all can do as well is get in there and get your hands on a copy of Grammarly. It is an amazing tool that you can use to help you with your emails that you write, with anything you do in writing. Your grammar is going to be amazing with Grammarly. And the best part is that Grammarly gives you the explanation of what's wrong in plain, simple English. So you actually learn as you go and you don't make those same mistakes. So go to yogispodcastnetwork.com/Grammarly, and we might get a small commission if you signed up for any of their accounts, but you don't pay anything extra. It's just us. We just make a little bit of a commission from them, and that's it. So thanks a lot, everybody.
And on that fun note, good night, everyone.
Hasta la bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.